Hello, this is Debbie, and this is Light Up Your Worth. I am so excited today. Today, my guest is Jamie Joy, like joy in our life, Crystal.
Hello.
And I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Jamie Joy because she's a medical medium. She does energetic healing, and she's really like this miracle healer. And, you know, and it's just like I am just so fascinated by her work that she does. And she just has this beautiful soul as we've gotten to know each other some before. So welcome, Jamie Joy.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. I'm happy.
Yeah, so am I. Like just saying that, Jamie Joy just makes me want to like I can't help but smile, right? Like joy just brings in more joy in the world. What's so fascinating is that the first thing that I of course want to ask you is what is a medium, a medical medium. So I'm just going to hand it off to you and have you jump in and share all of your magical goodness with us.
Well, okay. Well, I have a capacity with bodies, and I have the ability to actually go inside bodies and do like scans where I can see inside and I can pinpoint what's going on. A medical medium is someone who can find things that a doctor may not be able to, mystery illnesses, et cetera, et cetera. And I have this uncanny ability to tap into bodies and kind of see what's going on. And even to go beyond that, I have this crazy uncanny ability to start helping you change it. So I'm somewhat of a body whisperer. So not only can I see what might be a problem, and then I don't claim to be a medical doctor in any way. So if there's anything that I feel that is something that needs to be seen, I tell people right away. So I'm not just someone who's like, oh, I can change this if it's something that needs medical care. So first and foremost, I'm not a doctor, but I go where doctors cannot. And I actually like have communion with bodies where I can kind of get the information that's required for the root of the issue. Did I answer it right?
Yes.
I mean,
wow. Like there's no right or wrong
yeah,
answers, right? But it's
yeah.
like, wow, because
I get blown away too. I have chills right now. Like, to be totally honest, I am so unbelievably grateful and honored. And I get blown away too. And I've been doing this, I think it'll be 19 years coming up soon. And I still get blown away every single session. And I holding the space and getting the information. And also I've studied for years and years and years, taken tons and tons and tons of certifications, and also just been willing to go outside the box and outside this reality to help people change their bodies so that they don't have to live with chronic illness, so they don't have to live sick. And I get chills again. I'm going to cry. It's such an honor and a privilege. I feel so grateful. Yeah, I really do. It's my life's calling.
Yeah.
And I fought doing it, to be honest, because it's, weird. Yeah.
Well, what I find so interesting is most of the people who listen to the podcast are, women over 40, 40 to 65. And so that age group is really into the whole perimenopause or the menopause or menopause illness or the freaking the weight gain that comes with menopause.
I'm in that same age group. I'll be 49 in June. And I have an uncanny ability to help balance hormones and call in hormones, and then also remove hormones that are excessive, and also activate your body to do youth and vitality, where you can actually recreate your hormonal systems to reboot. So I started menopause and I didn't like it, so I changed it.
Oh my gosh, sign me up.
Yes.
My gosh.
Yes.
Like if you had seen me before menopause.
I do that on a regular basis. So I don't make any, claims, but I have, clients all over the world that rave about it. So
Wow.
Something must be changing.
Right. So once they change it, how is it able to maintain itself, or
It's up
do
to
they
the
check in?
person. When you step into all of you, you're required to self-facilitate. So negative self-talk, bad habits and behaviors, those things that don't really work with when you step into all of you and stepping into your soul and your purpose and your compass and getting to know communion with your body. So it's definitely a lifestyle change, but really the biggest part of the lifestyle change is to stop having such rigid points of view, stop having judgments, stop projecting, stop accepting projections, and start really stepping into loving yourself and allowing other people to be and do whatever they're being and doing, and you step into you. And when you step into that, it actually invites other people to choose that too. So there's a big like buzz about this thing called vibration in the spiritual community. I'm not super involved in the spiritual community. I stay pretty much to myself. I'm involved in the animal community, but in order to raise your vibration, like truly raise your vibration, you have to get all the denseness out of your body, because our bodies are, this sounds a little woo woo, but it's the truth. We're actually meant to hold more light and more space. So like, imagine you're a horse, right? And you're galloping through, if you know acreage, a 10-acre pasture, and you have all this space around you. That's how we're meant to live. And I'm going to actually, those who'd like to connect, like not connect, but like feel this, I'm going to show you what space feels like. Ready?
Yeah.
On 3. I know everybody feels this. And this is for people in the future, since we're recording this podcast. Do you feel the space? We're meant to be it. That's what we're meant to be in. And everybody walks around sucked up and afraid of everybody's energy and like kind of like, and feeling everything. But if we give ourselves space, there's ease in our bodies, and our bodies are a miracle in itself. They're able to readjust, restructure, and be what they're supposed to be, which are divine miracles. I mean, look at, our hearts are beating right now. We're having this conversation.
Yes.
We are a miracle. And people forget that because we're so busy being people instead of enjoying this planet.
Yeah. Being people. So what does it mean when you step into somebody else's projection?
Well, lots of people like to have fun judging other people. And it's usually the people closest to us that try to make us small. So a projection is when someone's thinking something and you take it on as yours.
Oh.
Yeah. We always mirror the people we're close to. Instead of being our own frequency and our own energy and our own selves, we try to mimic those around us. Well, when you start mimicking people around you, that can also cause disease because you're going to take on their stuff.
No, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
so I invite people to be there, to learn what they're learn who they are, and be all of them, and be the most potent energy. And it actually helps your body stay incredibly healthy. Your body just goes, oh, thank God. I don't have to feel all these people all around me and I feel all their stuff. Your body goes, oh, thank you.
Yeah. I can. Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel way too much stuff that's not mine. And it would be nice.
It's okay to feel it. It's okay to have awareness of it, but it's not okay to take it on. So you have to learn tools. You don't have to. I teach tools to remove that stuff so that you can. 5 minutes before we started this podcast, one of my clients messaged me, and it popped up there. And she says, I am completely feeling only myself the whole day. And I can't remember the last time that happened. She wanted to tell me.
Oh, wow.
that she feels amazing and herself and nobody else's stuff for the first time in a long time. So that's why I do what I do, because I don't know. It became really important to me to be the best I could be, so I could actually contribute to people. It was important to me because I was sick and I went through it. So it was important. I didn't want anybody to feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I
And
was determined.
yeah, and now you're almost like an animal whisperer too, from when
Hmm.
we have talked, and your
I am
connection with animals. And
I'm a consciousness whisperer. I receive from everything. The earth, trees, plants, animals, God, source, angels. I receive from everything.
wow. So
Consciousness.
so somebody could even work with you if they're having some issues happening with their pets.
Yes. Yes. That's my favorite.
Oh, I know. And I saw your dog come in,
Did you see
so
my dog come in
yeah,
and like
yeah,
lay on
come
the
in and lay in
bed?
the bed. And yeah,
Yeah.
mine's right here laying,
Yeah, we don't have
sleeping.
rules like that here.
Yeah, no, me
My dogs are
neither.
spoiled.
Mine sleeps on the bed, sleeps right next to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the best sleep too, when they got their backs up against you or
Oh
on your
gosh.
back, and you're like, oh,
She's a bed hog, and and sometimes she'll like claw me in the face. Yeah, but she doesn't
yeah.
mean to. She's really big. She's over 100 pounds.
Oh.
But yeah, she's my spoiled girl.
Well, and I know you had mentioned you're out in an old farmhouse on acreage, and that was
Yes,
to really help what you're doing.
well, it's not that I've always done that. I've had horses since I was 19. Even when I'm originally from Southern California, and I used to board my horses. And it's funny because it's not all of the income I have has all been received from me. I was never privileged or anything like that. I just was a creative. And my first business that I started was pet sitting for celebrities in Los Angeles. And I was 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've always just known I can create, and I always just knew that the universe would have my back. And this is my dream. And this is the second farm I have. I've had, I've had the same horses that I have now for the last 5 years. And I have 6 horses and a donkey. Yeah.
So how is there a difference between like the horse energy and say the donkey energy?
Very much so. Donkeys are brilliant and philosophers, and they never ever forget anything.
Oh.
They are incredibly intelligent. And every animal, every single animal has a different personality, just like every single human has a different blueprint and a personality. There's no two humans that are alike. There's no two animals that are alike in their personalities because they have souls. So it's really interesting that whatever animal you tap into, it's always going to be different. And they see, just like every human on this planet, everybody sees things differently than another. Animals are the same.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
It is. It is. And animals see in
Mhm.
pictures and communicate in pictures.
Oh, so tell me more about that. What's that? So they show you a picture or of a
And the
scene
way they
or
communicate with it, yes. It's like a movie.
Oh, that's really
And they store it so they can show you like their past. And it's so cool because like when I have a workshop, I have animals here that I've had since they were babies, and they're spoiled like my dog, and they have a whole different picture and story. And then I have animals here that have been rescued, and they have stories. And I never tell anybody before the classes, and I let them find the stories. I don't tell people anything when I'm teaching. I let them find, and that's how you learn. And that's how you learn that, because otherwise you're always in your head. So if you want to learn, to tap into consciousness, you have to be willing to not be in your head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that takes some practice.
Yeah. And when you are in your body's healthier too, because we're meant to be all the way down to our toes in our bodies.
Do you find when you're working with people, when they first show up and they find you and you connect, are they in their bodies?
No. No one's hardly ever in their body. They're in their head or above it or in front of themselves, behind themselves. Yeah, I help them find their bodies.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been told that too. I need to ground more. Like I need to ground multiple times a day, that I
And
go
it's just so
floating
funny.
around.
Do you ever feel like you don't really understand what that means? Like it's
Yeah.
it's not even, people say ground to the earth, but if you're not inside your body, it's impossible to ground for more than 5 minutes. It's not sustainable. So get in your body, So let me do real quick, everybody watching in the future. Well, now, this now moment anyway. So everybody watching in the future, every single person, I invite you into your body. 1, 2, 3, all the way down to your toes. Good. Cool. And then I invite the earth up into you. So restoration of communion with the earth, coming up through your feet and all the way to the top of your head. Good. Do you see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
We try to get down into the earth, but why not invite the earth into us?
Yeah. Oh, that was really powerful. Like
invitation, we have to be willing to invite the energies to play with us.
Yeah.
Because then you start to feel calm, and grounded, and that's grounded. Not forcing yourself to go down, not understanding, there's no one way for everyone, but if you're in your body, you can't go wrong.
Well, and I never really used to understand that, in my own practices of, when I started to become, this whole like mindfulness and, when I was introduced to Reiki 20 years ago, and I never really understood why it was so hard sometimes, where you feel there are moments in time when you're having a conversation and you just feel brilliant, right? Like you feel like you are all there, you're all connected, your thoughts and your feelings, and you feel like you're just in the zone. I call it, right? You're in this beautiful zone. And then you could wake up the next day or the next afternoon or hours later, and you're like, okay, that just came so easily. Why I know this? Like if you're trying to teach something or show something or read something or do something new, all of a sudden you're struggling to, connect or be coordinated. For me, it's being coordinated. Reading instructions to put something together, you're like, well, this isn't that hard. I'm fairly intelligent, and I started to realize that some of it is not being in my own body.
Yeah. And also in this reality, things like ADD and ADHD and hyperactivity and all of those labels that they have, they're made for wrongness. And really, it's a superpower and a capacity to do a lot more things at once. And if you're in your body, you actually can. So like, I have this little thing where, and it's so funny because my sister, who runs around like crazy and has this really, corporate job, everything she says, everything's so easy for you. And I'm like, well, no, I invite ease into my life. I have an invitation for ease. Like that's how I'd like to have my life be. When I'm in ease and when I am relaxed, I'm able to be present and I'm able to actually do and be more with my clients. I have 3 kids, all my animals, my just life, life in general. My kids go to do homeschool now. So in order for me to be able to be and do it all and have all the energy for it, I require to be in my body and I require to have ease. So like, I guess another word for it would be like cool, calm, and collected, but it's not like I'm trying really hard for it. I'm asking for it. And so then the frequency of my body and my field does that. So what I kind of do when I work with somebody is I remove all of the ways and blocks and beliefs and all of the other trash, and including head trash, that keeps you from being that. Because we're all capable of it. We're all infinite beings. We're all sparks of God. So shall you say? Yeah.
Oh, to invite in ease though. So you have to you got to like clean the house and then invite them in.
Who thinks, so let me explain. So if you're a person who has a belief that you have to work really hard, would you invite ease in? No, because you have a belief you have to work really hard to receive. If you're a person who has judgments about money being dirty or certain types of people, or add a judgment here, you're not going to be able to receive from that. So it's a block.
Oh, so this, you have to work really hard. Like this is a belief I've worked on, right? Like I've worked really hard my whole life. And I feel like I've worked extra hard, like versus a lot of people around me. Like, why is this so, so hard?
Well,
so I started to address
that's
it.
projection and comparison and judgment as well. We all have different paths. And so working hard, if you feel like you've had to work really hard, what would it take to create more ease in your generation, in your life, in your receiving? Would you feel satisfied if you didn't work hard for something? We get in our own way.
Right. I think that's why I've been working on that belief. Like it comes up over and over, or just when I think that it's, that I've come to peace with it, that, okay, I can allow more. I don't have to work as hard. I tried it out and things didn't work out quite like I thought, which not in a positive way, like some negative repercussions happened from it. And so I was like, well, I didn't work as hard. So,
well, who are you carrying that belief for? Is it ancestral? Like, so who in your family has that belief? So if you stopped having that belief, you'd be dishonoring of them. So everywhere in, on, around you, your body, your reality, your life, and your living, where you have to work super, super hard, maybe harder than someone else, everywhere you have the proving energy, all of that, just gather it all up and be willing to let it go. A little bit, 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 a little bit. And if you feel in your body right now, and anybody else who could receive that, by the way, that has that same belief, it was down in your sacral and root chakra. So everywhere you have this idea that you have to create on your own, that no one will have your back, that you have to work really hard because nobody has your back, and you can't get money anywhere else, right? You have to be willing to let that go. So, because that keeps people from being able to contribute to you, even if they wanted to. You have to be willing to receive. Because remember, have you ever given someone a gift and they just were like, this is the most amazing gift I've ever received. Thank you. Remember how good you felt? Well, when you are unwilling to receive and have people contribute to you, you're blocking them from feeling good. You hear, like, so would you be willing to receive from everything and know that when you have your own back, the universe has your back, and it opens up a myriad of possibilities. So everywhere you've always had to work hard, because, there's a lot of different things that people will have. If you're single, it'll be, I only have one income. That is a limited belief. It's not true. And when things are heavy in your body, it's because it's full of lies, that like beliefs that just aren't true. One person can have 50 incomes, 200 incomes, 500 incomes, if they're open to it. Yeah. So that's how these things get going, and it's so interesting.
That is really interesting, because I've done a lot of work, Joi, on clearing out money beliefs, like so many. We're talking hundreds, if not 1,000 of hours, right? Like uncovering it. And when you said
because you have to work really hard to heal, because you have the belief you have to work really hard.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. See, I just had an epiphany on that. Yes.
That's why if you're choosing to invest in yourself, and I don't mean you, I mean anyone. It's awesome to find someone who really, really is willing to get dirty with you and knows their stuff. So always watch someone for a while and make sure that because your body will know if they have something that you require, or you have something they require. It's super important, because and I'm not judging anyone, but most healers only scratch the surface. And if they're not trained enough and they don't take this, like I took this as if I was a lawyer or a doctor or a therapist. I took this, I did not see clients until I was 95% what I thought at the time, by the way. It wasn't really true, but 95% clear of my own shit. Now, excuse my mouth. I apologize, everybody. life is so funny because we're here to grow and expand and learn and love and be kind. And life gives you a lot of reasons, not like shows you a lot of things not to do that. So I'm always evolving, learning, growing. And in order to keep my certifications that I do have, I require one big class a year, and I continue to learn, grow, and study, and I facilitate myself. So, and like I told you earlier before we got on the call, my dog passed away in October, and I just bought this place, and there was a lot of repairs to do that I didn't know about. We didn't have the greatest inspector. So I was going through things. So I had to facilitate myself through those things in order to be able to be right back where I was in alignment to be able to contribute to others. Super important to me.
Yes.
Yeah. I would never do this work if it wasn't my absolute soul's calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so then you're going down, like I'll use myself as an example, right? Is that you go through, you spend years and years doing work, and then you intensify it. And then you get to a spot where you're like, okay, I'm ready to jump in and help people. You jump in, and then you get some of the biggest challenges that now come through, and you are like, wow, like I had to pause doing energy work for other people or clearings because I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to put the oxygen on myself.
Yes. And now I've turned it around, and I always oxygenate myself first now. I put myself first energetically, but also I went through all of that in order to be able to be able to take on all walks of life with people. I have a shortcut for other people now. I wish I had me. I wish I had me. Like things would have been very, very different if I had me. But I always pushed that envelope, and I always wanted to know more. And I always wanted to go outside of this reality. And I always knew that there was something greater. And I kept going for it. I mean, you know how I discovered I can change bodies, like take illness out. And by the way, anybody listening, I'm not guaranteeing that. I have thousands of testimonials and proof and all that stuff that is what I do. So I would never have known that if I wouldn't have tried and done it and listened and aligned and just like, can I do this? And I hear an astounding yes. And boom, body's changed. So, I mean, I can't tell you how I chose to do that. I can only say divine intervention. Because I'm afraid of nothing, and I will try and it's not even try. I just kind of go, but I always ask, can I do this? And if it's light, heck yes. But a lot of people are unwilling to kind of explore those things. I never was. I was just like, yes.
Oh my gosh. That's so powerful.
Isn't it kind of crazy too? Like, I mean, the first time and this, like I said, I'm not sitting here saying and making claims, but the first time someone came back to me in 3 months and their breast cancer, massive sized breast cancer was gone. I mean, you want to talk about the most glorified, unbelievable, and it's not me that does it, by the way. Like I just am able to like connect to something greater. But the most glorified, unbelievable gratitude, joy, love. There's so many diseases they say are terminal or lifelong, that can be changed. MS, fibromyalgia, thyroid issues. I mean, you name it. People's eyes, macular degeneration, all of this stuff, it can be changed. It can be changed.
Yeah. And I'm almost like, I was almost speechless there for a minute because
sorry.
I thought to myself, there's so much dis-ease these days. Like every time we turn around and my thought that I had was that when we were talking about like putting the oxygen on ourselves, I have found this last year, like my own experience, I wasn't alone. There were so many of my friends who are helping others, who are of service to others, healing others. And so many of them ran into almost the same situation I have, where all of a sudden there's not enough energy to help other people because something like there's these big events
Yeah,
that are happening.
the big events, when you have the belief that you are here to save the planet or to heal the world, you're tapped into the collective consciousness. And the collective consciousness is fear, lack, scared, COVID. Now it's the Ukraine Russian
Mhm.
issue. All of these things, our gas prices are up, the economy is this, blah, 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 blah. When you tap into that, you can't support anybody because you're tapped into lack, hatred, drama, fear, and all the lower vibrational energies. And what we have to do is disconnect from that and be in our own realities. And if enough people disconnect from that and they actually expand their awareness, that's how we change it. You can't change hatred with hatred and war with fighting. You change it because we're all creators, and you become greater in yourself and you show other people they can, because we actually are all one. We're all connected. We're just kept from knowing that. So if we're all one and the majority is feeling all these things, we're going to tap into that. So I teach people how to get out of that. Not that we're all one, because that we can't get out of that, but to get out of the collective that wants us like that. All the scary stuff. That's how
Yeah.
we can
Yeah,
change.
because it
Yeah,
takes a lot of energy. I find that
totally.
I'm in it and then I'm out of it, right? And then I
Mhm.
catch myself feeling some of that and then I have to get out of it. The other night I was um I think I was just mindlessly doing some scroll, right? Thinking I'm gonna like before I head in to relax to go to bed, like bad thing to do, right? Like those two don't go hand in
Well,
hand.
not a bad thing to
And
do if you don't have a point of view, but yes,
yeah,
you're an empath.
yeah,
Any empath scrolling Facebook, scrolling Instagram, scrolling anything is going to feel the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of what they're reading. So all of the thoughts,
yeah,
feelings, and emotions that don't belong to you, you're required to get them out so you can be you.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
think what I scrolled upon was an article about the Ukraine Zoo. And probably by the time this is published, the zoo will have been resolved. But I I like broke down. I was so upset about these
Mhm.
animals that are there trapped. And so there I go. Oh,
Yeah. Well, the truth is that we have to get out of the energy of the people who, excuse me, one second, who love power and want to take over it and all the darker energies on this planet. The only way to dissolve dark energy is through light. It's the only way.
yeah.
And everybody's so scared and doesn't know who they are. And that was on purpose. Like I said, we were masked from who we really are. So it is going to change. I know it. We came here for this time. But
Mhm.
right now we're going through kind of a dark night of the soul of the planet.
Yeah.
And we're divided. And it is a heavy thing.
Yeah.
But in order to change it, we have to be light.
Yeah. The I think it was I have like yourself, I'm really drawn to animals,
Mhm.
like animals are um they just have these beautiful souls and how they communicate and their love is
Mhm.
just so remarkable, and how, just falling asleep with your dog laying against your leg, right? My big dog that I've talked about who my 90-pound pit bull who passed away on July 1st, and he had, his cancer had come back, and having to have conversation with him for the last few weeks of his life, and that he was ready, right? Like he was 11, he was ready, but I wasn't ready. So that was his
Yeah.
message to me, was that, well, I've been here because you haven't been ready. So I, and then you have to realize that, you don't want him to suffer, right, in
Mhm.
this body, and having to make those really hard decisions. And but they're so powerful being able to do that communication with them and their bodies and what they're feeling like. So I'm really in awe of the ability that you have to be able to tap in and really help people get into their bodies, really start to address, because uh, we do, maybe it's coming back to that same belief I was just going to say. You do work, right? You go and you do the work,
Nope,
and
no.
then something else happens and you're like, okay, why is this happening, right? Like, I think people, I know it's a
Well,
journey.
a lot of people also have the point of view that it's work, that working, like that getting in communion with themselves is like a job. Well, if you say work about 5 times, you'll notice what a heavy word it is. What if being in communion with your body and really, really getting in that play zone of like becoming all of you isn't work? It's a discovery. What if you're willing to be curious? And everywhere you came in to this lifetime heavy, what would it be like to be willing to let that go now and be more curious? So that's the thing. It's like, we're not a job. We're amazing, infinite beings. And you were talking about how animals are so amazing and they have so much love. If everybody on this planet wasn't blocked from it and wasn't checked out, humans are amazing beings. And there's a lot of, I don't want to go into that in this podcast, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of amazing human beings out there. And if you're willing to, let go of all beliefs and really kind of, you don't have to really dig deep and make yourself wrong, but if you're willing to be more awareness, allowance, and consciousness, there's really no room for beliefs anymore. Because most of our beliefs don't belong to us. They belong to our ancestors and they belong to our parents.
Yeah.
So if they're not ours, why would we carry them? We carry a lot of stuff that doesn't belong to us. So when you're willing to let that go, when you're willing to just let that go and be curious, like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And what would I be if, who am I without all the things people told me I was? And see where that is. See how it's like sits in your chest, sits in your heart. It starts to expand out and starts to actually be willing to go into the light. It's willing to be let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really powerful, especially when you think about, the listeners here, right? Like, most people are over 40 and above, and they probably have been through a transition, or say it's a divorce, right? You've been through a divorce. You're trying to discover who you are without somebody else in your life, or and really start over and asking those questions of who am I?
Yeah, but everybody's willing to create from the past or worry about their future, but it's the choices you make today that create your future. So no one's willing to create from this now moment. They're always like, well, this happened in the past, so I'm never doing this again, or I'm never, everybody has so much set points of view based on the pain of their past, instead of going through and, changing it. Sorry, my shirt's falling. I talk with my hands. If you're willing to be curious and you're willing to, you can even start surprising and delighting yourself.
Ooh, what does that look like? Willing to surprise
yourself. Yeah. Are you willing to be that surprise for yourself? Are you willing to really just have no point of view what anybody else thinks and follow your joy, follow your compass, follow your flow, ask questions, be curious. Is this true? Is this true? You'll be surprised how much stuff we align with truth that isn't. Yeah.
And you ask those questions to yourself when you're in your body.
Yes. I'm a proponent of generative questions.
Oh, that's powerful. Especially when you realize that you weren't even in your body, or you're listening for the clues of your own intuition. And sometimes you don't feel either way. Like, well,
here's an interesting thing. Years and years ago, I asked a question. This is a little bit woo-woo, everybody, but it's my truth, and you don't have to believe it, but it's my truth. I had questions, and I was going through a very serious health crisis. And I had mentioned that I can't hear my intuition and I don't know what to do. And the answer was, your heart is your true brain, and your brain will lead you in loops. Your brain, you know, I call it the monkey mind. Your heart is your brain, and everyone on this planet is disconnected from their heart. I know it's deep.
That is deep.
Yeah, everybody associates love with romance and parental, and anybody who's hurt them, they cut off that, and they no longer want to be loved or be loved or love. And no, I don't want love. I don't want this. I don't want that. Well, love is a frequency, and it's underlying frequency, believe it or not, on this planet. It comes from animals. It comes from trees. It comes from the grass. It comes from the air. It comes from everywhere. And if we are having judgments and we're disconnected from that, we're going to have a really hard time following our knowing. I call it knowing because that's what it is. I no longer have beliefs. I either know or it's not true for me. Beliefs are really set in stone. And really, I'm just willing to be in the moment.
Yeah.
And that took a lot. You know, the first thing I had to do was stop judging myself. And that, I think, was probably the most difficult part of my healing, was to stop being my own judge.
Yeah. Is that the same too as you set expectations for yourself, or you set expectations of like
judgments, projections, other people's projections on you that you think are yours that are really theirs. Yeah.
The common one I have found with the people I work with is this, because there are people going through transition, is that this is not where I thought my life would be at this.
Yeah. And like there's some sort of like time is real. Time is a construct of this reality. It was invented here. So why would you want your life to be, okay, so at 22, I get married, or 22, I graduate college. At 24, I get married. At 26, I have kids, blah, 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 blah. Why would you want to be like everybody else? We're here to experience. It's not a competition, and it's not just boring, come home, have dinner, go to bed. There's no such thing as time. You can experience anything at any time.
Yeah. I know I had found myself against that, right? Because I thought, oh, I'm going to be married. I didn't go to straight out into college. And I thought, yeah, I'll be married by 22, 24 max, right? Like that was
like marriage is just this all important encompassing thing, instead of being all of you and aligning with someone who you do a creationship with, so you make each other greater. Isn't it so interesting?
Right.
The marriage is an alignment to this reality where someone else is in charge of you, and you do not make each other greater. You actually diminish yourself for the other person. And that's just not what we're meant to be. That's not the Christed way. That's the man-made way to make us small.
Yeah. Wow. I resemble what you just said, right?
Yeah.
Like spent 20 years. We never actually got legally married, but that's exactly it. I feel like when neither one of us brought out the best, or we did diminish each other in many, many ways. And I have since been, legally married, but now I'm also divorced. And so I also was feeling that I didn't feel like we were bringing out the best in each other. We were diminishing.
Yeah. And so like when you start to really, heal you attract the person that is the best for you, and you are the best for them. It's a co-creation. And also there's so much points of view about money. This is going to sound crazy, but the easiest thing on this planet to get is money. Right?
Yes.
The easiest.
Yes.
And it's so interesting because everybody makes it so hard. But that's all judgments, beliefs, projections. and all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody is like, well, I don't know, that seems to be like, I gotta work so hard, right?
Yeah.
I
Well,
gotta
then
yeah,
when they hear that and I say that and they immediately put up, resistance, reaction, heaviness, it means there's a block there that can be healed.
yeah.
That's all it is. And you know what? It's not a big deal. We make our block such a big deal and we're like, I'm stuck. You're stuck because you're not choosing. If you really wanted to change that block and walk around it, whatever you require to do, you would choose that. We choose what we're ready for.
Oh, that's really interesting. I've never heard
Yeah.
that. So we choose what we're ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Does that go
And
back
you
to
have to be willing to be ready for anything. Because if you want to really rock this life out, whatever that is for you. And when I say you, I'm talking about everybody listening.
Yeah.
If you really want to rock your life out, whatever it is you'd like to have, be, do, if you have money, you can save the rainforest. If you have money, you can contribute. Interestingly enough, I mean, if you were to tap into the majority of people that actually have money, they're buying ridiculous things like gold toilets. You wouldn't be doing that. So don't make money wrong. What someone does with their money is about them. Money's not wrong. Their choices might not be the best, but they're still their choices. So I don't judge. But a really amazing, kind person who actually has money can change the planet. So don't make money wrong.
Yeah.
Money's not the wrong thing.
Yeah. I've done a lot of work on that too. And what I've learned, what I've come to, what I believe in now, and it's a belief, I guess now is, is that the world needs me rich because I have where I would like to help. I want to be able to start multiple nonprofits. One of them is with, pit bulls and help them
so pull
with
that
women.
energy for you.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about the word rich. So your life may already be rich. So what you want to watch the words you use. So like when it comes to like wealth, it's about having money and being, and when people who have money don't even think about money, they just have it. So you got to be willing to be wealthy and have money, because like me, I'm really simple. And this is something I've been working on the last 5 years. Like I'm perfectly fine with just what I require. But that doesn't build a future. And I would like to do a big horse rescue, because people ride horses, throw them away and put them in kill pens. They don't care. So I would love to be able to rescue and rehabilitate horses. And that requires a lot of money. And I noticed that I have this point of view that I only need enough. So I've had to really work around that, because I have the capacity to, I'm really good at what I do. I've been in business 11 years online. I've been doing it 18 or 19 years, but I've noticed I have as much as I require and a little bit. And so the last 2 years, I'm like, okay, universe, I'm really ready for greater. So I can really actually step into what I'm asking for, which is I want to do a rescue organization where I can, rehab some animals. And like I said, that's expensive. So I'm willing to do that. I had to change a lot of the things around, because I'm rich, but my richness is my 4 dogs, my horses, my beautiful children. I have an amazing, amazing partner. I walk my grounds every day. I watch the fish in the pond. There's a waterfall within walking distance of my house. I'm rich beyond measure.
You are rich beyond measure.
Yes.
Yes.
But the thing is that I was just like, well, that's cool for me. But hay is expensive and veterinary, you know what I mean? So I had to change my point of view and be willing to receive. And since I chose that, I've, without doing anything, I don't advertise. Without doing anything, my business went up 30%. And that money I don't require. Guess what I do with it?
Filter it.
I put it in an investment portfolio. I have stocks and cryptos and all that stuff. So 30% of everything I take in, I invest.
Oh. That makes
And
sense.
that's one of the ways I got this, but that was the down payment for this place.
Ah, yeah, because I know, I was living in Reno, South Reno specifically, and they have the wild horses out there, and
Mm.
the wild horses come frequently into the neighborhood. And so I got to spend some time last summer with wild horses, like waking up and you can tell, oh, they've already been here today. I missed them, right? Because I
Oh,
was
that's so
home.
awesome.
But the joy of when you would go out and look for them in the afternoon, oh, they're here. And I would just throw on some comfortable shoes and just kind of stay away. But there was a few of them that would actually come over and want to engage with you, and the power of the horses.
That's
And
amazing. Yes.
I remember thinking, like how I'm just so blessed to be able to
Yes. And that's the richness
have.
of living. So when you get into that space, even if it's at the grocery store and having a conversation with somebody that just really feels good, let the universe know, I'll have more of that, please. I'll have more of that. If there's someone you really admire that seems like they have everything going on, don't wonder why you don't. Ask the universe, hey, I'll have more of the energy of that. Thank you. See the difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have more of that, please.
I'm
Thank you.
always asking for more, 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 more. I'm always giggling and laughing, and it's genuine. This is not fake. I am really that much. And I don't apologize. I'm really that much, and I don't apologize for it. And I've gone through a lot of places and spaces in my life where I wasn't able to be that much. And it made my body really contorted. And this is how I thrive, is by being me, no matter what anybody thinks.
Well, and I think that's like one of our it's such a big lesson for so
Yes.
many, especially I think even women, is
Yeah.
being able to accept yourself, because there's so much stuff out in the collective trying to conform you to a look or a size or what you should be doing, or, keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing.
I'm so blessed because a lot of my clients send me their children and their teenagers and their young adult children, and getting them situated in all that crappy stuff now, so they don't have to wait till they're 40 to heal. So I'm like, yay. And it's not just me. I'm sure there's a myriad of wonderful, amazing life coaches out there. I'm not just saying I'm your, only thing. I just really, really have the tools for living, and I'm really, really invested in it. And it's my absolute passion and honor. So yeah.
So if people are wanting to reach out to you, Jamie Joi, how can they do that? How can they reach you?
I have on Facebook, I have my business page is Joi Crystal, Healing Hugs from Heaven. My website is heartbodyhealing.com, heart as in your heart, bodyhealing.com. And you can find me there, and you can email me from my website as well. And I have a personal page on Facebook as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, I hope somebody reaches out, where everybody reaches out, because I being able to really get to heal ourselves, heal our bodies. It's using the energy medicine and really becoming well in all parts of ourselves, what body, mind, and spirit are so important. How it helps the earth, helps everything that's happening in the world. Is do you subscribe to the belief that if you heal yourself, then you're able to really go off, and it just expands out into the world?
Yes, it gives well, we're raised as little babies to be told what to do. So when you start to really heal yourself, you give the people around you permission for the same. Some of them will choose it and some of them won't. And I don't have a point of view about that, but we are groomed from birth to comply and listen and need permission for everything. So it keeps us really small. So I help people heal so that they can be everything that they came here to be. And yes. Yeah.
So when, now what type of workshops, or do you have something that's going to be coming up, or?
The next workshop I'm doing, It's going to be here on my farm in mid-May, and I'm finishing up all the details for that. I want to do it before June because it does get pretty warm here. And it's a weekend workshop that is total communion with the animals. And on hand here, we have 4 dogs, a barn cat, 6 horses, and a donkey, and ducks for communication. It'll be a weekend workshop, lunch included. I'm going to be doing something called access consciousness bars with the horses that is included in the workshop that you can receive at any time during the thing. And I'm going to be teaching individually as well as group, walking around the whole time. And another wonderful thing is we won't be distracted because there will be normally I'll do Zoom as well and invite people all over the world to join. This time it's totally no technology. I won't be recording this.
Wow.
So everybody's phones will be down and they will be all of them. And we'll prepare our bodies together to be embodied, totally clear, ready to go, ready to receive all of it.
Ooh.
So that's the coolest thing about how I teach is people aren't just showing up and they're copying what I'm telling them is true or whatever. I help them be clear in the space so they figure out who and what they are in receiving from the animals. Mm-hmm. And I don't tell anybody about any of the animals' past so they can tap in and play. It's pretty cool. It's going to be cool. It's going to be so incredible. I'm so excited.
Right? That it is so
reach
powerful.
out. It's actually not expensive to join me for the weekend. And the travel, yes, but even then, the workshop itself is only $444 for the whole weekend. Mm-hmm. I did not price that. My team did, and I'm totally okay with it because it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. Really reasonable for a all weekend getaway and all of that experiences. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, money is I receive money and I'm always taken care of, but that's not why I do what I do. I do what I do because I know what it feels like to be totally disconnected from life and living.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Thank you for
you're welcome.
So much goodness, right? Like so many practical tips in there for people to practice all the little energies that you've like dispersed, and I could definitely feel them in my own body. So
yeah, and reach out as well, everybody, because I do have a group and there's a lot of free content in there, and all of my videos that I do have the energy in them, and you will feel. Again, I have no idea how that happens or how I do that or how it's done, but it is just fact. It's amazing and it blows me away too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. This was so fun.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. Thank you.